Next gen's got me like. What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It's Game Junkie, back with another video for you today. Today's video, I wanted to talk about the recent tech demo that Epic put out with Unreal Engine 5. Now, I know, this is a few days old, but nonetheless, I still wanted to talk about it. After watching the tech demo, I gotta admit, I'm pretty excited for next gen. So why does this have me excited? Well, let's discuss. One of the first things I noticed when watching the demo was the incredible amount of detail that developers are going to be able to put into their games due to what's being dubbed as nanite rendering. The amount of triangles in the rock formations were somewhere in the millions, if I recall. If you even zoomed in, you would think that it was just noise because of how small the triangles actually were. But, you know, it really makes me curious just how good games are going to look 3, 5, or even 7 years from now as developers continue to push the boundaries of what's possible with graphical fidelity thanks to Nanite and Unreal Engine 5. Another thing that really impressed me was the lighting. With lumens, it looks like they're going to be able to use dynamic lighting, so when the player moves around in-game, the light will also move around with them. All of this is being done without any sort of light maps or baking, which is pretty incredible to say the least. They also talked about how they've made improvements to the audio system in the engine as well. One of the more interesting tidbits was where they mentioned that with convolution reverb, they were going to be able to take actual real-life caves they had sampled and then implement that in-game. So, for example, if you're wandering around in a cave in-game, the audio would sound the exact same as if you were in a real cave. Then they also went on to showcase the Niagara effect system and how particles will be able to understand their environment and react accordingly. So the example they used, they had a swarm of bats, but this could apply to just about anything. This is exciting because it means games are actually going to behave more and more like objects do in the real world. Now, of course, we'll have to wait and see how developers take advantage of this, but it should be interesting nonetheless. Another point that stood out to me was how the animation system has been improved. So, for example, games will now be able to take advantage of what's being called seamless contextual animation events. So this will trigger animations that are dynamic and based on the environment the player is in. One example that comes to my mind is maybe you're playing a game where you're in a hot desert area and there's a nearby water source. The AI know the conditions of the environment, and it would then automatically trigger the appropriate animations based on the environment. So it essentially creates a greater sense of realism as the character acts as one might expect him to in the real world. Lastly, I wanted to talk about what happened at the end of the video. This has to be quite honest what has me more excited than anything else, and I believe this is the reason why Sony has been touting their SSD technology. So at the end of the video, what happens is they show the player gliding through the sky, jumping between buildings at incredible speed with virtually no loss of graphical fidelity. Buildings that were miles away looked as clear and as sharp as buildings that were up close. There was virtually no lag or load times, and everything was pretty much seamless. Now I've heard reports that the demo was running at 1440p, 30 frames a second, but honestly, even if that is the case, this demo still blows anything current gen can do out of the water. And if this is a glimpse at what the future of gaming is going to look like, all I can say is sign me up. So what do you guys think? Are you excited for next gen? Will you be buying a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X at launch? Or do you think it's just hype? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. And if you like this content, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.